Hey vinyl community, hope you are doing well. Today I am joined by a very special guest for a very special top 5 list that we are going to do. Want to welcome Jeff Whitcher from Jeff Whitcher's Vinyl Destination, I think it is. Nope, that's right, Vinyl Destination. Hi everybody, thank you. So Jeff, you've been in the VC I think for about a year now. You've got your 500 subs contest, which is very exciting. I keep meaning to jump in on that one, but I promise one of these days I will. You got a lot of interesting content on your channel. I know you've been doing a lot of crate digging episodes lately. Had some pretty funny content there with your wife. You were talking about your vinyl addiction and how your wife isn't really digging it too much, but I think that's really pretty hysterical, some of the situations you put yourself in, but your wife's a pretty good sport about it, I see. Yeah, no, she is. I mean, she knows I'm a goofball, but I mean, contrary to all the videos and stuff that I put up, I mean, she's totally behind me. She loves that I collect vinyl, and we're all good, but yeah, she's kind of my partner in crime a little bit lately. I'm glad it works. Anyway, one of the other things I really like about your channel is you do some of those like fake albums. I know you recently did one about your MoFi. You know, 5 new album releases on MoFi, which is really funny. But no, keep the good content up. I really enjoy it. I know a lot of your viewers enjoy it. If you haven't subscribed to Jeff's channel yet, make sure you do. He's definitely got some excellent content. But we're going to get into our top 5 albums of the 80s. Now, Jeff, I know you're a big punk and metal fan, so kind of expect there to be some representation of that on your list. But why don't you get into your number 5? All right, so yeah, no, you're right. They call me the metalhead in the VC. So my first pick, I'm gonna go with 5150 from Van Halen. You know, nobody saw this coming after David Lee Roth left. I don't think anybody thought that Van Halen was going to be able to come up with the goods. I mean, granted, Sammy Hagar is a great singer, but still, I mean, this album is phenomenal, top to bottom. It's great. You've got, you know, the lead-off single, Why Can't This Be Love? You got, you know, Get Up on here, which is just a heavy rocker. Best of Both Worlds. Good Enough, which is an album opener, is just fantastic. So yeah, I like this album a lot. The only one I'm not a huge fan of is Inside, but you know, 5150 I think is a great track. I mean, this rocks hard. They really picked up where they left off from 1984. Granted, it's a new singer, but I think Sammy Hagar fills in admirably, and Van Halen didn't lose a step. And I might be inclined to say this is a better album than 1984, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree with me. Yeah, 5150 was one of those albums I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get behind, because I had grown up with the David Lee Roth, Van Halen, and it just seems like such a shift to have to accept that one of the greatest bands of all time, Van Halen, was getting a new singer, and Sammy Hagar, who had just kind of come out with I Can't Drive 55, but it worked. Yeah, you're right, it's a great album, one of Van Halen's best albums, I think. But yeah, very cool. My number 5 is going to be Remain in Light by Talking Heads. I really like this album a lot. This was actually the first album where Talking Heads got on my radar. I'd seen the video for Once in a Lifetime, which is the weirdest video. You've got David Byrne, who's all sweaty. He's got glasses, these like thick glasses on, and he's going through all these like weird movements, and he's doing his weird dance, and just the lyrics themselves are just so surreal and bizarre. But there was something very attractive about that growing up. And this whole album, it's such compilation of diverse styles. You got some world music on here. You've got some, you know, like with the Overload, it almost sounds like industrial, heavy industrial sounds on here. You've got almost like some funk pop a little bit, but it's all over the board, but it all works. They all do it so convincingly. Definitely a stylistic shift from the previous album, Fear of Music, but this is an excellent, excellent album. All right, Jeff, you're number 4. All right, well, I'm a big Rush fan, as you know, so I gotta go with my favorite Canadian band of all time here with Moving Pictures. Great album. I mean, this is, for me, the definitive Rush album. You got Tom Sawyer, one of the best tracks they ever did. You know, Red Barchetta, YYZ, Limelight was another fantastic track off of here. Side 2 is just phenomenal. Opens with the epic The Camera Eye. If you ever thought they were losing any of their progressive rock edge, you got Witch Hunt, Vital Signs. I mean, this is, you know, they were moving in more kind of a commercial directions. They were using more synthesizers now. They were fully entrenched with the synthesizer as part of their sound, but still they pull off a phenomenal rock album, and I love it. Yeah, that's my number 4. Now, Moving Pictures is no question a great album. I remember one of my friends growing up, he belonged to Columbia House Record Club, and that was one of his first albums that he got as part of that introductory package. And remember listening to that, thinking how cool it was. I think obviously Tom Sawyer was on the rock and roll radio stations. Limelight was big. But yeah, fantastic album all the way through. Can't disagree with that one. My number 4 pick, and this is an album that I've certainly given a lot of love to over the year. Well, anytime I've done a show on the 80s, I've definitely given some props to this particular album because it means a lot to me, and I love every song on here, and I think it's one of the greatest sophisti-pop albums of all time. If you saw the episode that I did with Logan from Swellheads, I'm talking Tears for Fears songs from The Big Chair. Great album, just so different from their first album that they did. And you got Shout, which was one of the first singles. Everybody Wants to Rule the World, which was all over the radio. But you got The Working Hour in between there, which is almost like a smooth jazz kind of a track. It's got mature lyrics. Mother's Talk, which is kind of more in keeping with their early synth pop roots a little bit. Then I Believe, which is almost like a slow piano ballad, but what works. Then Broken, right into Head Over Heels, which is one of my favorite tracks of the 80s. Love that track. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if it was the video was really cool, but just something about that song I've always been in love with. I don't know, I could break it down, but it's just a phenomenal track. I love the melody. I love just that opening piano, the kind of crashing piano lick that's part of it. Just everything about it is great. And then Listen is kind of a quiet way to close the album out, but yeah, this album is great. I can't say enough about it. So that's my number 4. Yeah, no, I think that's cool. I like Tears for Fears. I remember hearing those songs on the radio, and I mean, I was into metal at the time, so it was like, whatever. But no, I've like since come to rediscover that Tears for Fears, and yeah, no, it's good. I like it. Okay, Jeff, what's your number 3? Well, I know this is gonna shock. Sorry for the airplane going on overhead. I know this is going to shock people because everybody's like, you're such a metalhead, you're so punk, you know, you have the, you know, best metal collection we've ever seen, how could you go with something so soft? But yeah, I gotta go with Sting, Dream of the Blue Turtles. And I was a big Police guy, but I don't know, I really like this album a lot. I think it was a bold stylistic choice for Sting. Who knew he was such a jazz fan? But he's got a great ensemble. I think he's got Branford Marsalis playing on here. It is a cool, he's got Daryl Jones, just a cool little ensemble that he's got here working with him. But they still, you know, Sting writes some great melodies. He writes some great songs. Fortress Around Your Heart is great. If You Love Somebody, Set Them Free was the first single off here. But yeah, so many great choices on here. Consider Me Gone. The second side is really a convincing jazz. Every song on here has got some jazz flavor to it, but I like it. He does it well, and you can tell he's passionate about the music, and that's why it works so well. So yeah. Yeah, that's a great pick, actually. I got that for my birthday in 1985. I got the cassette. And yeah, I remember thinking like, wow, this is a lot different than Synchronicity. It seemed like he'd kind of moved into a full jazz ensemble and was only interested in doing kind of more highbrow jazz inflected kind of music, but also some political topical stuff. You got Russians on there, but yeah, I don't know. It's definitely grown on me. It's one of my favorite albums of the 80s now. I really like Sting a lot, so I think that's definitely a great pick. And it's kind of ironic because actually, for my number 3 pick, I am also going with Sting, but I'm going to stick with his Police work. 1981, Ghost in the Machine. I love this album. Definitely a more mature sounding Police than what had come before. Zenyatta Mondatta was very much kind of pop inflected, but they were starting to move into some different kind of a territory on here. But I love just that opening. You got the kind of reggae-fied synth opening or the rhythm on Spirits in the Material World. The big single, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic, is just great. The very moody, introspective kind of Invisible Sun track, I love. Hungry for You, which is a song sung in French, has got a great rhythm. I love the horns on this album too. That's one of the things that really, give it its own personality. You never had that horns in a Police album before. I mean, we take it now for granted because we've heard Ghost in the Machine, we've heard Synchronicity, but at the time it was a new texture that the Police have been using. They'd moved so far from their punk roots and were now doing some world music stuff. They were incorporating some new rhythms, some new, instruments into their sound. Demolition Man is very cool. Grace Jones had a great cover of that. But I think the unsung hero on this album is side 2. You got so many great tracks, Too Much Information. Rehumanize Yourself is a great track. One World, Not Three. Kind of embracing the whole, world harmony theme there. Omega Man is great. Secret Journey is such a moody, synth-dominated track. And then Darkness, great way to close out that album. But yeah, that is my number 3. Fantastic album. All right, Jeff, what is your number 2? My number 2 is going to be Joshua Tree. I can't help it. I love this album. I love U2. And I think this was a really, really solid album. Where the Streets Have No Name, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. With or Without You, the first 3 tracks right there are classics. They could have really retired after this album or broken up, and they still would be a legendary band. Then you got Bullet the Blue Sky, which is just a great, hard-edged, almost, I don't know, psychedelic kind of a track. Running to Stand Still is a nice, quiet track. And then side 2 is just phenomenal. Red Hill Mining Town is great. In God's Country, I think, should have been a single. I don't think it was, but it should have been. Trip Through Your Wires is just a great, you got the harmonica there. It almost sounds like it could have been like a Neil Young track, or I don't know. It's just, even Bob Dylan could have covered that track and would have made it great. One Tree Hill, Exit is just dark and dirty. Mothers of the Disappeared, great way to close out the album. Yeah, I don't know. I love this. I'm a total metal guy, but I can't help it. Joshua Tree is great. Very cool and very ironic because actually, if I can find it here, that is my pick also. Joshua Tree. I still think it's U2's best album. I know it's been overplayed. People have heard these songs 100 times, but I don't care. I think it's a great album. I think it's U2 at the zenith of their 80s creativity. finally the album where they got it all together. I mean, not that Unforgettable Fire was a bad album, but this one was their masterpiece, kind of the album that they were made to, you know, record. I mean, this was their Dark Side of the Moon, really. And they've had some great albums since. I don't think they've been as great as this one, but yeah, I mean, I love it for all the same reasons that you gave. Just a great, great album. All right, we are down to our number one. Jeff, what is your pick? Well, I'm going to go, big surprise, I'm going to go with the Cure Disintegration. This is an album I was in college when this came out, and you know, all my roommates had this, my, you know, friends in my dorm had this, and I'm like, no, it's not metal. I only listen to metal. If it's not metal, I don't want to know. If it's not hardcore, not interested. But they're like, no, you got to check it out, and I'm so glad I did, because this is phenomenal. And it is hard edge, but it's so atmospheric, it's depressing, it's dark. But Robert Smith, I don't care, even if you're not a Cure fan, you will find something to love about this. It's atmospheric, but it's also got some of the Cure's poppiness that they had on previous albums, like Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me. I've come to rediscover some of the Cure's previous catalog, and I think it's a nice blend. I think you know, the lyrics here, even though they're dark and depressing, the music itself is gorgeous, and got to give it up for the Cure. I don't, you know, this I think was their best album. For me, it's the best album of the 1980s. Yeah, no, I dig that one. I dig that in a big way. I'm really sorry I didn't put that on my list. I thought about it, but I don't know, just these other albums I tend to like a little bit more. So anyway, my pick. If you know anything about me, about my musical taste, this is not going to come as any surprise. I am going to go with REM, Green. Love this album. Document definitely was a strong album, but Green feels a little bit more mature, not trying to sound so poppy, not trying to go for Radiohead, a more commercial sound. I mean, they did have that with Stand, but you've also got some real mature work on here, like World Leader, Pretend, you know, Orange Crush, Turn You Inside Out, You Are the Everything, The Wrong Child. And it just sounds, there's more diversity of sound on here. You got mandolin, you've got some slow tracks, some heavier rocking tracks, but some more folky sounding tracks. Get Up is a great, great track. I love the opener on here, Pop Song 89. But yeah, I don't know. This album to me is a bit more fulfilling than Document. Love Document, but I have to go with Green. So anyway, that is our list. Jeff, thank you so much for being on our channel. I've been trying to get you on here for a while. Fortunately, we finally were able to work it out. But again, you've got such a great channel. I love your sense of humor. I love all the crate digging episodes that you do. I love your album rankings. I wish you would get back to those. I don't know, you haven't done those in a while, but I'm not trying to tell you how to run your channel or anything like that. But just thank you so much, Jeff, for being on here. I really appreciate it. Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I would love to do this again. Thanks everybody for watching, and you're great. Thanks. If you haven't checked out Jeff's channel yet, he is over at Jeff Whitcher's Vinyl Destination. Hopefully we'll get some BCLT going back and forth again here pretty soon. But anyway, take care. Thanks, Jeff. Bye, everybody.